You got Fresno State this week. They've beaten some good teams in conference. What do you see out of the Bulldogs?
Well, they're one of those teams that, like you just said, they beat New Mexico at home. They beat Vegas twice, I think. They're just the kind of team that can present, like a lot of teams in this league. It could be a matchup type situation. And the first time we played them, they weren't full strength, which a lot of teams this year have faced not being full strength. But they're going to have guys back a little bit like last game we played. Maldonado didn't play the first game we did last game. These guys are going to have three, and I think one are going to be playing. So it's going to be almost a different team and a different game, I think, than the first time we played them. They played all zone for 40 minutes. They didn't have their top two leading scorers pretty much. So as we get ready for the game, it's one of those things. Are they going to play zone all game again when these guys back? Or are they going to say, forget that. We're just going to try to, out whatever Air Force. So it's one of those games where we sort of have to try to be prepared for just about everything as we're getting ready to face, some guys second time through the league that we didn't see the first time. So it's a really, this time of year, a little bit different game. You usually get to this time of year and you're like, okay, you know exactly who you're playing against. You sort of know exactly how the game's going to go. And this one's sort of up in the air. But on the other hand, for us, we just got to keep trying to play the way we've been playing. And doesn't matter what really they do or who's playing for them. It matters that we get the kind of production that we've sort of been getting more recently from a number of different guys.
One of those guys is Jake. Is he healthier now, more himself? Is that one of the reasons why?
Yeah, I think, one, you get to the point where, okay, you played 20 games or 22 games. We're now up to 28, but I've definitely seen a difference. I think about 3 weeks ago, made a change sort of in the routine, in his routine, like, I did. I just said, okay, you're not going to be over there not doing anything or riding a bike. Get out here and do our warm-up and dribble the ball and pass the ball and obviously not try to pound on him, but just get him doing those things and maybe substitute that in for the live play because he's had a lot of live playing games. So change the practice routine and maybe somewhere in there that's helped him. And then along with what you said, maybe he knows what he's dealing with. Maybe his body's healed. Maybe mentally he's got it under control. He sort of knows, and he's had enough games of, okay, this is how these guys are going to guard me, and it seems to be he's got a good feel right now. And along with what I just said, some other guys, we've been stepping up sort of collectively, playing much better offensive team basketball, and he's playing really well right now. But I think some other guys contributing and producing is obviously helping him in that regard too.
It seems like a lot of teams in the Mountain West aren't as good on the road as they are when they are at home. Is that just along the college basketball landscape, or is that something that you see more in this conference?
I think one, college basketball in general. I don't know if you look at it, probably home team wins 70% of the time. I don't know if you can say that in any other sport. There is something with environments and travel and crowds and human nature. I think what you find generally though is the good teams. The ones who are the best teams in their league, they're the ones that don't have that sort of much of a disparity. They probably obviously are going to have a better record at home, but they're still going to figure out ways to be 500 or better on the road. I just said to our guys yesterday, we have more road wins than we do home wins in league. So we have to, that's an anomaly. That's something we got to address. We got to address that. We got a home game and we got to be good at home, and 2 of our last 3 are at home. So I'm happy, that we figured out ways to win 3 road games. Right now we got to figure out a way to really be good at home, and if we could be doing that in February, late February, that would go along the lines of what our goals are. To becoming a better team in February, and I know we are right now, and we have been over the last 4 games. We got to maintain that right now and upgrade it, as we have a couple home games with Vegas on the road.
That's probably perplexing to you, right? That you're been better on the road than at home. You shoot on these rims all the time.
Yeah.
You know the floor, all the spots. And
I think sometimes, I don't know, it could be a young team. We go on the road and the environments are really, really good environments, and our guys sort of know the challenge at hand. And I don't know, is there a little bit of a letdown when you're at home? Like, oh, we're at home, the challenge isn't as great, and I think that's just an experience thing. It's an experience thing with our guys are ready on the road, and we got to figure out through experience. I know we got to be more ready at home. We got to figure that out and learn that. But maybe that's the good thing is we figured out how to win some games on the road, not like be in games. Sometimes with the young team, okay, you figure out how to be in games on the road, how to fight on the road. It's been a positive that our guys have been able to do it and figure out how to win those games. And I'm hopeful that experience correlates and does something for us at home that, yeah, we know what we got to do, and we've had the experience of producing and coming through in tough moments on the road, and, well, we got to do that at home. So get that opportunity tomorrow, and like anything, it's going to be an unbelievably hard game. I know that. Every game in this league's hard. These guys got good players. This guy 3-1. They're good players. So that's going to be the challenge. Almost like the last 3 games. Okay, there's individually you got to guard those guys. We had to guard Wyoming's guys. We have to guard Utah State's guys. We got to guard Fresno State's players and do a good job of doing that. We've been getting better with that. We got to do it again. We got to do it over the last 3 games.
In early January, you mentioned the word maturity and how important that was to see throughout this season. Now we're heading into March. Do you feel like you've seen that from this young team?
I've definitely seen, like I've said, we sort of changed our routine in early February. I did it to try to sort of capture their attention and their minds in a different way instead of continue to do the same thing. And I've seen, as we've done that, I've seen it work, but it's worked in a way where they seem to be paying attention more. At a time of the year where, and I'm not saying you don't pay attention, but there's a grind, and the grind sort of dulls you a little bit. I see these guys sort of, paying attention more and, listening more and seeing more things. And maybe it's just been that little change that sort of, has sparked that form. And it's been good to see. And it hasn't just been one guy, like we talked about Jake. He's stepped up his game. Carter Murphy is making big contributions. Bo Becker is continuing to come along. Reedus is not, the last couple games, it's not like you're looking at a freshman hitting the wall. So it's not just one guy. You're seeing a collective group sort of, is it maturity? Is it just more experience? Is it them really learning each other's games and sort of gelling and coming together with different guys making contributions? But I've seen it over the last 2 weeks, and now, to your point, we're getting close to March. We got to finish February, continuing to see it, and then we will have sort of said, okay, we learned how to weather storms, grind it out in February, and figure out a way to get better, which is what you want to do as you head into March.
After big wins, it's good to kind of test that maturity. After New Mexico win at home, how do you feel like the vibe has been with this team? More confidence?
Yeah, no question. And we've just played better. Like I told our guys, we've played better. In that game, we played really well, obviously. I thought we went to Utah State, and we played well. They did too. They got good players. They played well too. But we were able to show film after that game to them of saying, listen, we played well again, and here's the areas where we got to keep getting better. And it was like, a 2-1 in Utah State's favor on whatever we showed. And then I said, the trick is, as we're doing things that are way better than we were 3 weeks ago, we got to flip that script instead of it being, 10 good clips of, wow, look at what we're doing, and 15 regressions. We got to get it to where it's 15 good clips and 10, whatever. And that's what we did with the Wyoming game. So that's what I mean. I see our guys growing that way. And it's not one guy. And is it confidence? Is it maturity? I hope it's both. And we're going to need it. Because when you get into late February and March and the tournament and all that, that's what you need. You need confidence. You need maturity. You need to have your physical strength. And hopefully we can keep building in that direction.
Even though you beat Fresno in January, was there something from that game that you wish you saw from your team that you are now seeing in this point of the season?
What I saw there is what I'm seeing a little bit more is I saw a team that we didn't play great that day. I know Fresno State will say they didn't play great that day. They didn't have all their guys. But we found a way to win the game. You know what I mean? We didn't play great. Our offense wasn't great. It was one of those games, and our guys stayed with it throughout the whole game and figured out a way to win. So, a month later, we need to be that same kind of team, right? And as we are, be able to win a game where you might not be playing great, but at this juncture, figure out a way, right, to get 4 and 5 guys to play well and produce, and that's, if we're playing better right now, it's because, we got 4 and 5 guys that are making contributions, and when if it's just 2, it's not going to work. You need to find the 3rd guy. Obviously, once you find the 3rd guy, right, the 4th guy then shows up. If you're stuck at 2, it's just really hard. It's really hard, and that's been a theme for us, and we're starting to get that, and we're going to need that tomorrow, because I think Fresno State's going to come in here ready to play well and ready to show that, they're not the team that they were a month ago when we played at their place.
We talked about the home road disparity. Obviously you have a potential weapon with Clune Arena and the energy it can provide. Is what you're seeing there now comparable to what you saw your first 3 years, or has it taken a drop since then?
No, I actually think here, and it's more our players just learning, gaining that experience. Everybody wants to be good at home. Everybody knows how important it is to be good at home. It just doesn't happen that you're good at home. Just because you're at home doesn't mean you're good. What it means is you got to grow into that kind of team that then knows how to take advantage of the fact that you are at home, and that is experience. And I actually think our crowds, I think our fans and our crowd sort of likes watching this team play. They like the way we play. They like the way we compete. They know when we're playing well, and they know how to cheer for us when we're playing well. And that's the beginning stages of sort of building a home court, is having your fans sort of really grasp onto, oh, I know how we're supposed to be playing. And then they cheer for those things that are important to us. And I think we're getting that right now. It's building in that direction. And I don't know if it's a little further advanced or it's sort of similar. Like our fans sort of know, hey, we're playing the way we're supposed to play. We got to do that more consistently at home, and then they consistently cheer that way, and then they consistently come. And that's really when you start to get good at home.
And then one other thing with the transfer portal, everybody has to be aware of that and is impacted by it. Is this the time of year where most teams are going to be done in 2 or 3 weeks? Does that become an added element you have to be concerned about because guys are probably kind of starting to have those thoughts, or is that a constant, or is that something that you?
I never think about it. I don't think about it. I could care less. You know what? It's like we're Air Force. We're going to do what we do. We're building the program the way we do it, and this is a great institution. This is a great opportunity to play college basketball at an unreal high level. We're building a pretty good program. That's just outside stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have any control over that stuff. The only thing we control is how much better can we get, and what I'm focused on right now, again, we're going to practice here in a little bit, and I know that what we've been doing with every guy in this program, every guy, it doesn't matter if they're playing or not, I know today when we go over there, right, every guy is going to get the individual attention of 2 coaches to work like so hard for 5 and 6 minutes in a short burst, and all that attention's on that individual so that guy can get better and improve. And we're going to keep doing that because that's how you build a program. You got to get every guy to get better. That's what we got to do at Air Force. We got to develop guys. Guys got to get better. I think you're seeing that with our guys right now. And I'm hopeful that that's sort of the thing that gets us in, I won't say year 2, but this year 2 with these guys gets them being better and stronger at the end of February, because we weren't last year. And if we can see that, then, that means we're heading in the right direction. Like I said, we're 500 on February 21st. I mean, I don't know the last time Air Force can say they were 500 on February 21st. And I know our goal, and our players know our goal, is to make sure that we want that 500 to be at the end of the season, because that's, in the grand scheme of things, everybody's goal, the NCAA tournament, the big dance. Well, let me tell you something, you got to have a winning season before you start talking about that stuff. And I think our guys are focused on that. And every goal that we have is still in front of us, and that's one of them. And the other is finish February getting better. If we can do that, then we're heading in the right direction.
Okay. But you understand, I mean, that success you have had is mostly built on freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, all.
So,
most.
and those guys could
Most.
all, that opportunity would be there. So but that isn't something you allow yourself to think
I
about.
can't concern. I'm concerned about me helping them get better, me helping them improve. And then in the grand scheme of things, hope that when you do things that way, you know what? That's what makes people go, ha ha, I'm at the right place because I'm with the right people. And that's really what life's about, is learn, right? When you go through life, that's what you learn, right? If you're with the right people, you're in the right spot. And if you focus on that over and over, you find yourself doing really well in life. So I know that's what I'm going to keep focusing on and don't get sidetracked by anything else.